Good day, team. Just jumping on a quick live here. Just going to post in the group as well, and just let you know that we're going live. Okay, cool. Yeah, so just want to run through a couple of things on members' questions this week, and there were some pretty interesting questions. So first of all, I'm going to start off on, well, carbohydrates and sugars. So a lot of people are doing the 6-week total body transformation. We get people to increase their protein levels as of the end of week 2 to help with a little bit of muscle gain. So one of the things I want to talk about there is quite a lot of people are actually sending me messages in regards to should they be reducing their carb levels, should they be reducing their sugar levels. And one of the one that really sort of ground my gears was asking about fruit, so cutting out fruit in your diet. So I'm assuming now that there's a lot of people on Instagram and all that sort of stuff, and you're just watching all these absolute idiot personal trainers who are saying, you know, you shouldn't have fruit in your diet because it's got, like, you know, fructose, blah, 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 all this crap in there. So let's just look at this in a real life scenario. For years and years and years, doctors have been trying to get people to eat more fruit and vegetables, you know, add more, you know, greens, fruits, etc. into your diet. So you've got all these absolute morons now on Instagram who are telling people not to eat fruit as part of their diet because the sugar's in it. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's so stupid that it's just beyond belief why other personal trainers would be telling people to do this. So if you're on the challenge, obviously understand by sort of week 2, week 3, you're increasing your protein level. So automatically, that's bringing your carbohydrates down, but it doesn't mean you have to cut carbohydrates. It certainly doesn't mean you have to get rid of fruits in your diet as well. So keep incorporating them into your diet, and just be careful who you listen to on social media platforms. More fruit and veg you can get in there, the better. So that's absolutely key. So get that in there. Don't listen to that rubbish that's on sort of Instagram and Facebook. Eat your fruit and vegetables, people, for God's sake. Okay, other questions that people were looking at today, they were asking about measurements. So there's a couple of people who are coming in for their midway scans on Saturday and on Monday. And people were just sort of asking around, like, what measurements should we be looking at, like the body fat percentage, etc. So we are going to look at the body fat percentage. It doesn't move too much. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Where I see most people start to see results is after sort of the end of week 3. So we'll just be tipping over on that. So the key measurements that we're looking at is really the photographs and your actual physical measurements. So I had a couple of people yesterday who were sort of saying, you know, their weight hadn't moved too much, which is totally fine. You know, the only reason we're looking at your weight is really just so we can figure out your calories, so we can adjust that. Now, while you're on the 6-week challenge, we're not going to change your calories. I'm going to get to that in just a second. We'll look at that at the end. So the measurements we're looking at. So this particular person, they sort of said their weight hadn't shifted at all. I said, what are your measurements like? And like, measurements was down. Like, all of the measurements are down. It's like, okay, well, that's key. Okay. Body fat, they probably didn't have a huge amount of body fat to drop in the first place, and there'll be a little bit. So it might be down 1%, 2%. Don't really worry about that. Those scanners that we use, they're accurate to a point. So really look at the photographs and look at those measurements. That's where you're going to see most results. Also, I want you to look at some other measurements, like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling happier? Do you have more energy? Are you getting up? Like, measure the things that actually count. Like, a stupid number on a scale that says you dropped 2% body fat, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really mean anything. So very much focus on, you know, how you're feeling, your fitness levels, and what's working best for you. Other questions I've had this week, quite a few, okay, about training when I'm sick. So we're still sort of like, it's January, it's just like a little bit of a cold snap again. So people have gotten a little bit sick, and yeah, they're asking, like, should I train? No, absolutely not. Take a break. Focus on your calories, focus on the food that's going into your system if you're looking to drop a bit of body fat. If you're on antibiotics or whatever it is, yeah, take a little break, rest up. Just, you got to look at how your body works. When you're sick, it's like a stressor to your body. If you're doing exercise, it's a stressor to your body. So don't try and put your body under a load of stress and, like, train while you're sick as well. Take a few days to rest, recuperate, recover, and then get straight back into it. Okay, so training while you're sick is a bit of a no-no. Now, you'll know yourself if you're kind of like, you know, a little bit of a sniffle and you're all right, that's probably fine to train. But if you've got a lung infection, I think we had someone else on antibiotics, those are the times when you need to rest. And you're all grown-ups now, so you do know when that is. So rest up a little bit when you're going to be doing that. What else? Other questions we have. Oh yeah, injuries as well. So there's a couple of people who have had like slight injuries just from like other stuff that they are doing. And if you feel a bit of a strain, you need to rest up. That's the same as training when you're sick. Like give yourself a bit of time to recover, get that back, you know, whatever muscle group it is working again, and then you can jump back down onto training, you know, or else train a different part. Like if you, like let's say for example, you've hurt a leg, as I believe one of the girls did, but you want to train, you know, upper body or a different muscle group, you can definitely go and do that. Just be sensible about how to train. If you've got any questions on that, just like hit me up directly. Anyone else who is watching the live or watching it later on, if you're interested in the 6-week total body transformation that we do then, move it. I have actually pinned the links to the conversation, so you can click and register for that. We do like a little consultation, go through your goals, and then tell you about getting started if you're interested on that. What other questions do we have on the list? Questions about protein, and what protein to take and what protein is better. So on the challenge, if you're increasing your protein rates, you want to be taking supplementation a lot of the time. It's just a lot easier to take supplementation. So, you know, if I'm using whey protein, which is milk-based protein, I'll just jump on my protein and probably buy something cheap because it is just sort of like refined milk, so it's on there. You can get that. Or Sun Warrior is a plant-based protein I've recommended beforehand. I go the whey, but if that's what you're looking for, that's all good. And also, when you're on the challenge, another question here is how much protein should be getting in. So if you are on the challenge and you've got the Get Started link for Movement, there's a calorie calculator on there. There's a macro calculator on there that shows you how much protein you should be taking. A lot of people are saying they are a little bit struggling to get the protein levels in that we do on the challenge, and that is fine. And let me explain why. So obviously, if you're on a 6-week challenge, you're trying to, you know, accelerate or increase the results. So if you're on around like 40–45% of your calories coming from protein and you're struggling to get that in, that's okay, drop it down. Remember, it's like accelerated results in a short period of time. And we only do it for the last 4 weeks of the program as well. So let's say you're not hitting that 40 or 45, that's totally fine. Drop it down to about 35%. Most people seem to be able to manage that 35% and still get some really, really excellent results. So if you're struggling to get that 40–45% in, which will make sense to anyone who's doing the challenge, drop it down a little bit. Go for 30, go for 35, and you're going to be just fine on that. So people are also wondering, what should I do with the carbs and the fats when I'm on the challenge, the other macronutrients that we're using? Doesn't really matter. You've got this weekly calorie goal that you're trying to hit. So as long as you're sort of hitting your calorie goal, hitting your protein goal, doing your 3 sessions a week, you're still going to get those results. So that's absolutely key, is to just drop it to play around with carbohydrates and fats. And if you need to drop down your protein level a little bit, you can drop that down. Anyone else who is watching as well, if you haven't asked me a question directly and you do want to ask me a question, you can pop it in the comments below hands and I will get it answered. What other questions have we had? Oh, yeah, someone else is wondering how many classes they should do per week. Kind of depends on your recovery. When you're doing the 6-week program, your goal is to get to at least 3 sessions. If you want to do more, that's absolutely fine. But like, listen to your body. Like, have you recovered? Are you in a lot of pain in certain muscle groups? If that's the case, maybe take a little bit of a break. Can you do 2 sessions per day? Yeah, absolutely. Would I recommend it? Only if you're able for it. Like, if you feel that you're up for it, you could try it. And then if you felt like you'd gone too hard afterwards, then don't do it again. You know, ease your way up to that. So the biggest mistake people make when they're either doing a challenge with us or generally getting back into fitness is they think that exercise is the most important part, especially when they're trying to burn body fat. So when you're at the gym, when you're working out, what you really should be focusing on is not trying to burn calories in the gym. Okay, that's a silly thing to focus on. Like, you've got all these like heart rate monitors and polars and all that stuff, and they're nice, they're gamified, and it's a little bit of fun. But people are, oh, you know, I burned 1,000 calories of that class. You probably didn't burn 1,000 calories of that class. When it comes to calories, your focus should be on your intake, your consumption, not trying to burn those calories off at the gym. If you want to burn like calories off, do extra activities like bloody take the stairs, you know what I mean? We've all heard these things before. Jump off the bus 2 stops early, get a bit of walking in. That's a good way to burn, you know, extra calories. Don't just try and do it at the gym. When you're at the gym or doing a class, so you should really be focused on the form the technique, the weight that you can lifting, progressive overload, so maybe lifting a little bit slower. That's what you should be focused at the gym. Don't use it to burn calories. This is going to build strength, muscle tone, all that stuff that people say they're interested in when they come to work with us. But yeah, don't be too concerned about burning calories at the gym. Focus on the intake of calories that you have in your nutrition. That's going to be key for next time. So those are some of the main questions that I had here for the Facebook Live this week. If you do have more questions, you can shoot them through to me today directly, and you've all got my numbers, apart from those people who aren't on the challenge watching right now. Get on the challenge. Other things is, if you are doing the challenge, Wednesday is food diary day. I want to get those WhatsApps to all those food diaries. I'll analyze them, give you any tips that you could use to improve your results down at the 6-week body transformation. That's me for the day, guys. If for those who weren't able to watch the live, it'll be on Facebook later. To those who aren't on Facebook, I'll upload it to YouTube and put it onto the members questions section on the website. Any questions you have, burning questions or desires, shoot them through to me. I'll get them answered for next week's live, or I'll answer you direct via WhatsApp. Peace out, guys. See you down at training.